Hi, my name is GuneetSamy, and I chose to talk about gun laws and the impact it has on students and the general public. I also talk a little bit about the effect it has on criminals. I didn't really focus on one specific type of gun law or one specific group of people, but I did lean more towards talking about students. So, like I said, I will be discussing gun laws and the impact it has on the safety on others, such as students and the general public. I looked at how students would feel if guns were allowed on campus and how the general public would react if there were an ease on gun laws. Most of my focus was on students, since there have been many mass shootings, such as the Virginia Tech or the Columbine shooting. I looked at the ages between 18 to 20 since criminal violence is high among the young adult ages. And in 2017, the highest rates of arrest for murder were those between the ages of 18 to 20. Young adults are more likely to use firearms when violent crimes are committed. Therefore, refusing a gun to a young adult can prevent a crime from occurring. Legal carrying of guns differs from state to state. As mentioned in the article that I was reading, one state, Vermont, set 16 as a minimum age to carry concealed guns in public places. 14 states required a minimum age of 18. Another 21 states set 21 as a minimum age, and one state, Oklahoma, set the minimum age at 23. In the year of 1999, there were 7 states that completely banned carrying guns in public, but by 2010 there were none. States that allowed 18 and 20-year-olds to carry guns had less homicide and serious assault compared to states forbidding it, but not to a substantial level. The reason for this might be because those states only allow them to have it if they have not committed any crimes in the past. But this is to say that banning gun carrying does not necessarily decrease violent crime, and allowing lawful gun carrying does not increase violent crime. The ban that was introduced in 1969, that 18 to 24-year-olds cannot purchase guns from licensed dealers, did not make an effect, on this age group to reduce crime. A reason for this could be because they bought guns from friends or family members. They could have stolen the gun or used an older person to purchase the gun for them. Unfortunately, 40% of Americans testified that they're very worried that they or someone they know will be a victim of a mass shooting because of all the mass shootings, such as the Virginia Tech massacre or, like I mentioned, the Columbine school shooting. The student survivors of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting launched the Never Again movement, hoping to promote awareness about school shootings and protesting for stricter gun policies. So in the article that I was reading, they mentioned that they should take opinions from those who know more about gun laws and the laws instead of those not properly educated about gun laws. I personally believe that the students and anyone who has experienced gun violence have the right to speak up about what the gun regulations should be. Some people claim that limitations on owning firearms can prevent future happenings of mass shootings, and other people propose that arming people permits Americans to protect themselves and discourages future crime. The bill, the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act, that was passed in Florida, it bans adults between the ages of 18 to 20 from buying guns, executed a 3-day wait period on rifle and shotgun purchases, and also permitted law enforcement officers to take firearms from people who are believed to be a threat to themselves or other people. This may have caused people to stockpile, meaning so they went out and bought a bunch of guns, out of the fear that there will be a limit in the future. In another case, so after the Sandy Hook elementary school shooting, officials recommended bills in more than 30 states that would allow school officials to carry firearms on campus. So as of now, 24 states authorize schools to allow certain individuals to consent to carry firearms at school. After a survey, they found that males, white people, gun owners, people familiar with firearms, and those who have taken gun safety classes are less supportive of gun control. Knowing someone who was a victim of gun crime showed larger encouragement for stricter gun control. Um, so on the next slide, I'm going to showcase a video where students from the Columbine school shooting came up with a campaign to try and reduce gun violence.
Powerful message from Columbine High School students and other high schoolers across the nation who say they are so fed up with mass shootings in schools, they want to dictate how deaths by gun violence are publicized.
Denver 7's Tom Mustin joins us live from the newsroom tonight with a closer look at this initiative. Tom?
Well, Shannon and Ann, as part of an initiative called My Last Shot, the students are asking fellow classmates to place a sticker on the back of their driver's license, letting the media and others know that if they die in a mass shooting, they want the photos from their deaths publicized.
We're numb, stuck in a loop, seeing the same images over and over again. So how do we end the cycle? Sometimes it takes seeing the worst of humanity to bring out the best. We're students from Littleton, Colorado, united together for one thing: ending gun violence and making sure a memorial like this never has to be built again. Today, we are launching the My Last Shot project and declaring that in the event of our deaths from gun violence, we want the images of our deaths to be publicized.
Now, these students say they want the gruesome, graphic images of their deaths shown in the hopes of sparking change when it comes to gun violence. And they say clearly numbers and names just aren't cutting it. There is, of course, a flip side of this movement, as journalists were often encouraged not to use the most graphic images since those images could glorify the shooter. Now, take a look at these guidelines for reporting on mass shootings as published by the Poynter Institute for Media Studies. Number 5 on the list here: be sensitive and cautious about using visual images rather than showing graphic images of the crime scene. So a lot of food for thought here. What do you think? Should graphic photos be published in every news outlet, or is the media doing the right thing by holding back some of these disturbing images? We plan to take a
So that was an interesting video. I've never seen that video until recently when I searched it up. I knew of the Columbine shooting from a long time ago, but I didn't know that the students came up with something like this. I personally believe that it's a good thing, just because it shows what people have gone through, and it showcases, like you shouldn't be killing other people. Hopefully it's a good cause and it goes to a good thing. But yeah, my husband actually thinks the opposite. He thinks that maybe if there's people out there like psychopaths, and they see something like this, they might actually be intrigued by it, and it might actually motivate them to go out and kill people. And I agree. I mean, it's possible for that to happen, but hopefully this campaign is a good thing, and it continues to be that way. Anyways, let's continue on with this PowerPoint presentation. So it's very easy for people to buy guns from different states and bring them over to states with stricter gun policies. In Indiana, you can purchase a gun without a background check, and it wouldn't even be traced back to the buyer. Even though firearm policies decreased the rate of suicide with men, it was found that the ban had very little effect on reducing crime. Many guns found in crime scenes come from states where gun control laws are not that strict. Campus officials and legislators thought of ways to improve safety for students on campus after the Virginia Tech shooting. One suggestion was to allow people with handgun licenses to carry their firearms on campus. 19 states in 2013 and another 14 states in 2014 introduced legislation designed to permit concealed carrying on campus, though only a fraction of the laws were enacted. 10 states currently permit individuals with concealed handgun licenses to carry on campus. Those people that are supporting these laws claim that it would prevent possible offenders from committing violent crimes, such as mass shootings, if they're aware that armed citizens were there. Students can be in more danger due to accidents or those who are suicidal, and there was also concern that stressed out students may use firearm on campus. In some states, the person selling the firearms legally must prove that the buyer is not fit for a provable reason, such as being a convicted offender. Policies such as this are supported as having a preventive effect on crime since they're not able to be in possession of carrying a firearm. Increasing the number of citizens who are able to carry firearms should deter potential criminals because they will know that a victim will be able to protect themselves with the firearm, and it also increases the number of people who could stop a crime from being committed. If people are not aware that there are many legal firearm carriers, there might not be a reduce in criminality because the criminals will believe that their victims are not able to defend themselves or other people. So, in conclusion, people who are not criminals are scared and want to feel safe and protected at all costs. I have gone through a couple situations where guns were involved. So basically, this is story time. So this is a few years ago, or a couple years ago. In Burnaby, I was renting at a place, and there was a targeted drive-by shooting at the place that I was living at. It wasn't targeted at me or my family. It was targeted at the people who were living upstairs who were also renting the place out. And I just happened to be home at the time of the incident with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. And just to mention, it was only 10:30 p.m. at night, so it wasn't even like super late. It wasn't even midnight or past that. So that's just to say that things can happen at any time, anywhere. Like, people are still out at 10:30 p.m. at night. It was a very scary situation. There was also a bullet hole right underneath my bedroom window. But yeah, it was a very scary situation. And of course, we've moved like a week after that happened. But until this day, I have fear of guns, and I fear of being shot in my own home, or even just like a car driving by. Like, I still get fear of that. So therefore, I am one of those people who believe that there should be stricter gun laws, and that firearms should only be sold to those who have like a background check. So this is to say that this has changed my view of criminals because they will do just about anything to have a firearm to commit a crime, and they may also be worried of law-abiding citizens who have guns because they know that they can protect themselves and may even be hurt in the process of it all. The government is coming up with laws to reduce crime in this crazy world that we live in, and they're trying to protect students on campus while also taking into consideration how the students would feel about having school officials have possession of a firearm for protection. But I still believe that there could be more done. It's just sad to see that criminals will do just about anything to hurt others. Anyway, so thank you for watching. I can't wait for all of your comments down below. I know I didn't really focus on a specific group of people or specific type of law or a bill, but this was my presentation, so hope you guys liked it, and I can't wait to see all of your comments. Thanks.